Tracy.
And I'm Chuck Neff. Welcome to PM Magazine.
We're at Affton High School, and tonight on PM Magazine, we're going to a play here. It's called Adam's Apple, and we're going to meet the man who wrote the play, wrote the music, and wrote the lyrics. His name is Scott Miller, and he's only 17 years old.
Then we'll meet a housewife who turned a brainstorm into a money-making, shape-up business.
Also tonight, Maria Shriver discovers the truth about Hollywood casting directors.
And Dr. Marina Granick reveals the dangers of gorging yourself with food.
It's all coming up
on PM Magazine.
Affton High School, like any other high school, is turning out our future doctors, lawyers, politicians, and playwrights. Well, tonight on PM Magazine, we're going backstage to meet the composer, lyricist, and playwright of Affton's high school musical. His name is Scott Miller. He's only 17 years old, and he just may be our next Neil Simon.
We're the children of eyes up with the alligator grin. We know what's preppy and we know what's in. We wear topsiders, baggy pants, and skinny disco ties. We're the children of eyes.
This is a scene from Adam's Apple. You won't find this stage play on the east or west coast. In fact, the only place you can see this play is Affton High School in South St. Louis County. While other high schools are recreating Broadway's biggest smash hits, Affton High School has produced the original work of a multi-talented artist. Scott Miller wrote the music, script, and lyrics to Adam's Apple. And what makes this so unusual, Scott is a 17-year-old high school senior.
Hi, remember me?
Set in high school. The main story is about the hero of the story, who's Adam Graham, and he's madly in love with this cheerleader named Angela. But you find out about halfway through the first act that Angela is not your typical nice girl, and everybody lives happily ever after except for Angela.
You're so all-American, Adam Graham. You make me sick.
At first it was a joke.
A joke to Scott, but his drama teacher wasn't joking. She challenged any of her students to write a complete play. By the end of school last year, Scott had completed 3 scenes. Over his summer vacation, in the seclusion of his bedroom, the writing continued.
Mrs. Rethwisch said, gee, why doesn't somebody write a show for us to do next year? As a joke, I wrote Give Me My Captain Crunch, and I kept writing, and I kept writing, and I ended up with a play. The hardest thing about it was writing all the music down by hand. I mean, there's like, 60 some odd pages of music.
After those months of writing and rewriting, Scott surprised even his mother.
I just thought he was fooling around on the piano, and one time he came to me and asked me if I wanted to read his play. So it was a surprise to me. And then he asked me to type it, 106 pages, long pages. Scott is very much an extrovert. He's happy, he's optimistic. One time I went to him with a long list of things of, look, Scott, how many problems I've got. And he says, no, you're looking at it the wrong way. He says, you're looking at it like the cup is half empty. He says, now wait a minute. And he started saying all these things to me. He says, now look at that. He says, see, now the cup's half full.
Scott, the extrovert, is a witty, humorous 17-year-old. It carries over into the classroom and seems to be contagious.
I do not know any 12-year-old girl who would find a dismembered finger on the floor and pick it up and show it to her friend.
Well, she was precocious, remember?
Yeah, she was like, gee, a dismembered finger.
Hey, crispy critter!
Scott's love of the theater helps him excel in writing and performing classes, but he also excels in courses like biology and geometry. It's no accident Scott is a National Merit finalist and #1 in his class.
I feel that he is exceptional. Scott's always been the type of boy that was ambitious, always had ideas galore. I've never had anybody who could take a piece of manuscript paper without any training in theory and sit down and put the notes down on paper and put the harmony down and put the chords above it. It was done very professionally. I was very surprised.
Almost a year to write Adam's Apple. Now, 3 months of evening rehearsals, repeating scenes over and over again, all to bring Scott's written words and music to the stage.
That first act, there is just something really dead about it. It was bad enough that we should do that whole first act again.
Make it funny. It's not funny by itself. There's something that actors do on Broadway that we don't do at Affton, but you can try. And that is exaggerate. If for some reason you're supposed to scratch your head in a scene, don't go like this. Go like this. At least for this week, the play is the thing, okay? So please treat it as such. I'm not worried about the cast or the crews or forgetting lines or the light's not coming up or the set's not being moved or anything else. But I'm so worried that the play isn't good enough.
Opening night. Outwardly, all the young performers radiate enthusiasm and excitement. Inwardly, despite 3 months of rehearsal, they're all suffering from a severe case of the jitters.
Scott, what's your opinion of the play?
What's my opinion on the play? I'm scared to death. That's my opinion on the play. You know, we're going to assemble everybody and depress them a little bit, you know, so they want to work harder. I'm so devious. I love it.
I want you to wait for those laughs, but don't wait so long that you drag the play, because we could not stand to have a 2-hour first act, frankly.
I'm not really nervous. Everybody asks me if I'm nervous. I'm not nervous. I'm scared. I'm not so sure that the play is going to go over good. I mean, the songs, they got to start up and stay that way.
Last-minute instructions still ironing out the smallest detail to be sure everything goes smooth. No more time for pep talks, only a moment to say thanks.
I'm sorry. I got to do it, folks. You know, prepare, all right? Thank you for making the script and the music what it is, because it is exactly like I wanted it so much. Thanks.
Let's have a lot of energy and go out there and prove to Scott that we can do it.
Yeah.
After the first scene, you can just tell if you have sucked them into it. You know what I mean? If they like the characters, if they're involved in the plot. I guess the worst that could happen is when I ask people what they thought of it, and they tell me it was fine, it was nice, because that's about as rotten a compliment as you can get on a show.
After the first scene, no one said it was nice, and everyone seemed to love the characters. Maybe that's because they reflect a little bit of the character in Scott Miller.
There's a little bit of me in almost all the characters. And there's a lot of me in one character in particular. Charlie. He's the all-around good, all-American type guy, you know. He's dreaming of going to Broadway, and I want to write and star on Broadway.
Scott's dream may sound almost like an impossibility, but that may be just enough to someday put this young playwright's name in the lights of Broadway.
To achieve all that is possible, you must attempt the impossible. To be all that you can be, you must dream of being more. And the play was an impossibility. And since it was impossible, I decided to give it a shot. And I did it.
By the way, if you like Scott's music, a soundtrack of the play will soon be available. Don't go away. Coming up next, Maria Shriver discovers the truth about Hollywood casting agents.
Adam's Apple was a big success here at Affton High School.
It was a wonderful play, and we thought in the time we had left, we would show you a few more scenes.
'Cause I am Mephistopheles. I do whatever I damn well please. Famine and disease only serve to make me laugh. You hate J.R. Ewing, I'm a J.R. and a half. He's a J.R. and a half. I repeat, I'm Mephistopheles. I do whatever I damn well please. I'll give you contentment and security, and all you have to do is give your soul to me. Shabbat, Shabbat. He's Mephistopheles. He makes being evil a breeze. He's a prince of tragedy, misfortune.
fortune and curse. You think our fate is bad? Well, I'm 10 times worse.
Jan mentioned earlier in the show that soundtracks of Adam's Apple are available, and if you would like one, they cost $5, and you can call Affton High School, and they'll be glad to send you one.
Might be real valuable one of these days when Scott's a star. Tomorrow night on PM Magazine, we'll meet a pint-sized reporter who writes and publishes his own magazine, and we'll see him compete with the big guys for the really big story.
Then we'll discover the parson of the hills, a man with incredible faith and dedication who brings Christmas to the poor mountain folks of Appalachia.
Also tomorrow, Dr. Jim Wasco reveals an important medical advance that can save the lives of coma victims.
And Susan Wasserstein explores the joys of collecting antique toys.
It's all tomorrow night on PM Magazine.
Have a great evening.
Good night.